6:03, 6:04 now. We have a quorum. We're only missing one. So the first one is approval of minutes from the March 13th meetings.
Judy did send me a list of corrections, including a format change, because I apparently missed a tab and it screwed up all the numbering.
All right. I move we accept the minutes as modified.
Second.
Ryan seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment items on the agenda.
It's like a list of people who have airport business, so.
We can keep going. Items for discussion, airport construction budget.
Runway 1230 displaced threshold relocation. The good news is FAA flight check was here on Tuesday. We have PAPIs. PAPIs are successfully checked. Reels are mostly successfully checked. I don't think there's any notice out for the reels. But we did have a couple of issues where on the south side, if you tried the low intensity of the reels, they weren't blinking correctly. It was weird. And then on the north side with 2.5, one side would come on at low intensity, the other would come on at high intensity. They both work at high intensity, but only one was coming on at low. So I think they passed them all at high and we were good. But we do have, even the electricians know about it. They were out here for flight checks too, so they're working on figuring out what's going on. Yeah, no. The reels down here are the replacement reels that are temporary anyway. So we'll have to figure out a way to close the contract out while holding stuff back for cost of those. Until the actual final version of equipment is in. That's 1230. We have PAPIs.
Okay.
DOT hangar projects. Adam and I met today. We've been crunching stuff. Adam's been crunching stuff for the last month. I think we've got a better handle on the possible hangar project. What we're looking at now and proposing is a 6-place hangar, so 6 T units. 45-foot wide doors, like we talked about, roughly $350 a month rent. The cost
10, right?
as opposed to 10. At 10, we don't have enough space for 45-foot wide doors. So if we want 45, I think we could go up to 8. And if Adam wants to chime in, he's welcome to, but I know he also might be occupied.
So how wide are the current hangars on this stuff?
40 to 42. Like Moten, 90% of the doors are 40. We've got a handful that are 42.
So 45 would be quite a bit.
45 would give us quite a bit. And a little bit more room for some of these Cirruses and other newer.
I imagine with Cirrus.
Yeah. So that's the numbers we were working with. The total project budget we've got right now is just over 1.4 million. That's roughly $1 million for the building, and 400 for the taxiway infrastructure, the pavement, and that includes the design bid, engineering oversight stuff that goes along with it. So
since they're T hangars, we need pavement on both sides.
yes,
And we have pavement on one side right now.
correct.
Yes.
With that, the funding sources, again, roughly $600,000 from the bipartisan infrastructure law, which has a new name. Roughly 300,000 from the GAVI, the General Aviation Vertical Infrastructure Program. That's a cap, so we can only get $300,000 pending the legislature giving us more money. And then roughly about 425,000 from the EIP program for the paving portion. So that gets us up to a little over $1.2 million. Based on doing this, the CIP projects that we're canceling, which is the solar array and then the modernization project initially, that gives us about $100,000 a local match there. So we're up to 1.3. So we're probably about $100,000, give or take, of shortfall that we may need a loan, which I think if we get to that point, I mean, it's gonna need to be a quick loan. I don't think the city's gonna give us a super long protracted one for $100,000, but. At $350 a month. Those 6 units would give us 25 grand a year, so 4 years, 5 years of a $100,000 loan have it paid off. And have the full income. Yeah, it's
That's far better.
absolutely, absolutely.
This is not really.
The general thought right now is also, Adam is gonna work on a couple of different add-on options, so like a jet pod. Or an option for the other two hangar units, so we have 8 in total. We're just concerned with pricing and chaos and
Yeah.
not knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Baseline.
And is it still a plan?
Like a 50 by 50 attached to the building. Or
Still
50 by 60.
insulate these?
Yes, still insulated, still heated. That is part of
Okay,
it.
so we are planning.
Yep,
to
that
just
is-
Keep them.
Yep, that is
Alright.
part of the plan is actual heat.
Have you thought about just asking for like a security deposit so we don't have a?
Well, that's one of the things we could do, if I'm.
I suspect that wouldn't be that hard to.
I don't think it would. What I want to do is, get through probably the state grant application process. So we know how much money we're getting from the state, which,
Sure.
assuming we get all of it. We'll start doing pre-sales, pre-leases, advertising. And I think what I want to do with the commission's blessing is do a 3-year initial lease. We can probably kick that up to 5 if you want. It just takes public hearings to go to 5. And then that way we have an initial term, especially if we're gonna have debt, we'll have an initial term that matches the kind of the length of the debt payments. So that we're kind of guaranteed that funding.
It's a shoot.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not worried about it. You're gonna have, I think it's fine. I would.
Well-
think you're gonna have lots of tape.
I don't doubt that, but I think I would like the added insurance, and I think 5-year term is completely acceptable.
Yeah.
Provided there are supplement terms. Do we do that in, I don't.
Generally for the T hangers, we don't.
No,
Because they're 1 year.
5-year, would we consider that?
That's up to you. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it, but that's up to you guys. Now what I consider
Why not?
that as part of the
If you
package.
sign a lease for 5 years. Move, would hate to. I mean. Pay for.
I mean, probably consider that.
I mean, the other option would be they could terminate it and then you just have to,
Okay.
if, you know,
If I have a 5-year lease.
I get what you're saying. Like, there would have to be, you'd be on the hook to invest it in, or you have to find somebody. Just like.
Yeah.
And then what I would anticipate, what I would anticipate doing in terms of,
Yes.
in terms of advertising in a wait list kind of situation, I think I would actually offer it to our current tenants first. If anybody wants to move over, they can. Provided they're giving up a hangar that they're currently in, it's not gonna be as an additional one that sends a swap.
Yeah.
And then we will backfill based on the waiting list, or whatever spaces are open.
I'm really glad we're doing merit.
Married.
What consideration, if any, are we giving pilots who are going to potentially be displaced there that want to have?
To be determined. We can give them higher priority if you want. Right now, everybody that's called right now are people I would not expect to be in this $350 market. They're 152s, 172s.
Yeah, no, that part I got, like, I always assumed that we were going to open up these new hangars. To people who were in less expensive hangars that wanted a nicer hangar, which I don't think we're gonna have a problem getting soon. So what I was asking about more so was the 6 spots that open, are we just gonna go to the top of the list? Do we wanna?
My initial plan was just go to the top of the list, but if you guys want to do something different. Marriott is also going back out for an RFP for a second round, for getting, like, I am 95% sure Marriott's gonna figure their stuff out and it'll stay.
Okay,
I really do not expect it to close.
okay.
That I would be unfair to people to get on the way.
That's,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. But it was a point of discussion earlier, and so I just wanted to see if we.
So yeah, that's kind of my intent with the waiting list, is still the longest wait is the first one to get the backfill slots. And that's kind of where we're at. The next big thing again is, and we're gonna crunch some more numbers and see what if we can't refine these a little bit better. The soft costs, the contract for the engineering and design and bid, and then what the actual construction needs are. We've got a little bit of wiggle room there because we probably don't need a full-time inspector out here for a building. And there's only key areas where you want somebody out here, like when the foundation is poured or when. But somebody attaching a beam to a beam is not really something you pay someone to watch over. But we'll have some of that kind of sorted out as we go forward. The next big step is applying for the state funds.
What was, you made a comment about potentially 8.
Potentially 8, that. So Adam had run the numbers on actually a nine place unit, and that was pushing 1.8 million. Which would need significant loan money. And I think just being able to back slide out of the debt issue, the debt part of it is something I think is really big. And still being able to get 6, and also with, you know, either 2 or 3 more units that could be built at the end, that's probably a manageable chunk in the future that we can get. Or we can work into a CIP project that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, that's where we're at with the hangar building. Again, we'll keep moving forward with the intent of applying for the 2 state programs. And presuming we get that money, we'll keep marching down the line. And well, I'll present this to the city as well, as kind of, this is what our vision is, that way they're at least aware of what the setup is, that we can talk about what they would be looking for in terms of payback, which again, like 100 grand, 4 years, 5 years. I think that would be pretty reasonable.
Until we know about the grants and funding for these other things, we really don't know what that number is. And it's too soon to even bother trying to think about who's gonna get into those.
I'd like it to be a little bit
Years they
more.
had it From now.
Well,
A couple more months. I'd like, so the loan amount, the final loan amount won't be known until we actually bid this thing and have bid prices and we know what we've got.
But to build it and have a hangar ready, it's not gonna be ready by next spring.
It'll be ready. I mean, no, it's gonna be a late summer.
So we have plenty of time to decide who gets to move to it and all that.
I don't know that it'll be as we gets to, it'll be who wants to upgrade their hangar.
Yeah, but I mean, as to how. Who gets first choices and all the stuff you guys have talked about.
Oh, I think we, well, I was always under the assumption that we would just kind of open it up and people who wanted to upgrade to a 350 above hangar, that we would just take them in order.
Yeah, it'll be a
And
first
then-
come.
It's not a big-
First come, first served. No, I don't think so. And then we'll just use the list, the wait
Okay.
list for building back to them. I think it'll be,
Okay, so that's the thing.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to turn into a big thing, that's necessary. Yeah.
So that is the hangar building. Anything else for that? Budget, this is April, so we've got 2 months left of the budget cycle. I think we're doing too bad. Last I looked, our expenses were kind of right there at the 73-74% line, so we're mathematically in the ballpark. I do know we'll be getting our farm rental check here in the near future, so our incomes will look better. And our fuel flowage, we're about maxed out on what our budget was, so we're gonna have a couple of months that are getting beyond what we budgeted, so revenues will look better than we expected. Management, a couple of things on the management side that aren't quite on the agenda. If we started talking about it a little bit before, but we did send out an email to hangar tenants and copy airport commission members on that we did receive notice from the FAA. They're going to attempt to cancel or not cancel, terminate, and the VOR Alpha approach. I am grabbing a letter from the airport or an email from the airport to say we don't agree with your decision, yada yada. I know OPL has already submitted something. Tom sent me a copy of what he submitted, so highly encourage folks if they want to keep the VOR Alpha to reach out to the FAA and say why and try to make a case for it and see if it helps. And I don't know if it's a precursor for the VOR getting shut down, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years that's the next thing to disappear.
Do we know if the VOR is on the MOM?
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think it is. I thought it was.
It's also used for high altitude airfish as well. I mean, it's not just low altitude.
Was it? I don't think it's high altitude.
Is it? It is absolutely used by Part 121 carriers as a waypoint. On a day when a front's about to move through and contrails hangar, man, there are all sorts of jet contrails right over that thing. With turns and, yeah, it's used. But I don't know if it's part of the MLM. Judy, the MLM.
They want to get rid
They're
of
all
it.
Well, they want to get rid of the approaches because they have. After GPS was installed, they tripled the number of approaches to airports and they want to cut back on what they have to fly and maintain and outside of flight checks, I don't really know what added costs there are. Because the approach is there, like you made the approach, unless the airport changes a particular feature, you don't do anything else with the approach.
Yeah, it's a non-precision, non-runway.
Yeah.
So it's not like they have to, oh, got to change the course, so, the magnetic deviation, or, none of that.
You're right. It's a high altitude class VOR.
Get a warning station.
I would.
Does Lorian exist anymore? Is there any Lorian?
It does exist, but it's not used in aviation. You gotta get to the coast.
Yes, the Iowa City VOR is part of the MOA. And they're decommissioning many VORs, but they're going to pay with that MOA.
I've seen that flight check. Be a large percentage. I guess they're already here and doing it, but maybe they might not think that far along. To be like, well, they're already here. It's probably like, it's just one more tick in the box of.
I mean, clearly based on the letter that was part of that description, they used AI. to do this.
Yeah.
Like there's no person behind it looking at the approaches, like, yeah, that one should go. This is clearly an AI decision.
I mean,
Control.
I guess if people are using it, really using it, we train them because it's there.
Yeah.
But I never really use it myself.
It'd be a real fun data exercise because you can get the flyware data to see how many people. I assume that's what they would do is go back and query the ADS-B data.
Is the ADS-B or the Cedar Rapids tower, this tower would be clearing it from the approach.
And watch. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, what you'd see a lot of people flying it for training. They're
Sure,
they're over the
sure.
end, and they use it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, he wants his last chance to use it. There's some nostalgia about that.
I always thinking on you as a double I, you gotta take your students out of there for instruction.
I do,
And shoot the approach.
because there aren't that many VOR approaches left.
No, and it has time, it's time. It's time.
It's a timed approach, so
So it checks all the.
and
check right boxes.
that's, that when you do it, it tells you just how useless timed approach is.
Uh-huh.
By the time you tick up to your 5 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever it is, you've already flown the airport or also, whatever. But anyway. But I.
So that's the VRL. Also, just for scheduling purposes, the annual report to city council We didn't haven't figured that out quite yet, but the next council meetings are May 6th and May 20th. If folks have calendar openings for one or the other of those dates.
6th will be preferred.
Of May, I'm out of town, but I'll be sadly in Hawaii for the first. But
And it's just a couple of commission members, we don't make it a meeting, you go up at the public comment period. I think everybody's there.
I think I'm available.
What time is it on the sixth?
6 o'clock for the formal meeting, so usually 6:30-ish is when.
It's my turn, so I might as well just take it. So 6 on the 6th.
Yeah, if you want to do the 6th, we'll make sure we get it in the packet for it.
It's just at City Hall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty leather jacket and stuff.
you have to have a teardrop class.
We're going to.
All right, moving on to the hanging ground lease.
Well, before we move on
Okay.
from the annual report thing, do that. What are we just getting up and talking about?
Yeah, you just kind of talk, basically, it's the executive summary.
Okay. Notes on that.
I will email the annual report back out to everybody, so you have a fresh version.
Okay. I mean, if you already sent it out, you know.
It's. I don't know if I said it after you gave me the edits or not.
I think you changed it. I don't think you said it with the
Okay.
changes.
I'll make sure I did, and I still got that email, I'll make sure I did, and I'll resend it to everybody. Three, quorum, so.
Oh,
That would be different. You two fight over.
I won't go, no, I'll stay home with the baby.
Ryan can go in anticipation for me and
I'm
I.
just gonna be at home.
It'll be another month, it'll be in.
Put him in a closet.
Taking the city hall, you said it's fine, city.
Okay. Another.
All right, and grounds.
Like that.
I was I was kind of hoping that one of the individuals would show up. At least provide.
Yeah, unfortunately, they had prearranged trips that conflicted.
I think I still share concerns with this one as, so the rent that we're giving up is $480,000 for 10 years. And then we're giving them the square footage rent of today. And they'll be paying that starting 15 years from now, or no, sorry, 10 years from now. So I think that's sort of what concerns me. The 50-year lease, I can be fine with that. But I do still have a little bit of kind of fuzzy around the edges about the rent for 10 years and then them getting the rental rate of current year. So that would be my comments.
I can tell you all of the proposals started with a 30-year and as we talked about what needed to be done over there, it kind of bounced from there. So
Yeah,
because of the location of the hangar, they do need to reduce the fence line and
but I guess that,
the gate.
yeah, is that $480,000 worth of?
That's not 480,000, that's like 48,000.
Or hold
You're
on,
missing a zero there.
10 years times 12 months, their square footage is 11,495 times 0.35 per square foot. Comes out because, so if you do, how about just a year, to make sure I'm doing it right. So 12 times in parentheses, 11.
No, because they don't pay monthly, it's a yearly lease.
that's
It's
the
a-
numbers.
I like to for this.
Well, I think listening to Matt talk about prices at other places and what's being done, I think this is very reasonable.
35 cents per square foot.
I
a
think-
year.
I
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
for comparing what other,
yeah,
other places are coming up against.
But I do share Ryan's concerns about, so we're making a change from 30 to 50, like, we need to make sure,
How do you know?
well, more, that's not gonna indicate it, but
That's by the figures, so.
That makes it slightly better.
by like a factor of 10. Yeah. Almost exactly.
It's a rounding error. But I mean, I guess I'm still like. Cause I think, I'm just trying to think of. Or this is what we'd expect to do, right, is you get,
I mean, not necessarily, like, if somebody else wants to build another hangar, they're gonna get the initial 30-year.
well, they're not gonna have, well, they'll have a whole bunch of leverage though, cause they'll be like, well.
They know about it.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
at this point, we're running out of places to build, so.
that was my other question, is the reason they're in that corner is just because they wouldn't want to put in enough concrete to build out over there.
Well, for the size, that's really the last area we have for
Yeah.
a 9,500 square foot hangar.
Yeah,
I mean, it's effectively another hangar N.
yeah. Well,
Just it's gonna be located right across them.
Gonna be located right across.
That's what they thought based on the picture. But they're paying for the concrete apron to
Yep.
protect their building.
Yep.
Actually,
They pay for the apron, they're paying for the fence.
well, the apron's just there's like a little square though, right? It's not like a,
I mean, it's a smaller square, yes, it's about
It's
half
not
the size.
the
of
whole-
hangar.
it's not the whole.
here's their hangar, here's
Yeah.
November and Mike and would be that. I mean, it would,
Yeah,
it's not trivial.
They're still doing an awful lot.
Yeah.
It's not true.
I don't, see, this is my point though. I do like people wanting to build hangars here. I'm just wanting to. We're agreeing to be in a business relationship with someone for 50 years. And I don't want to just like rubber stamp a hangar because I'm on the airport commission and I want a hangar to be here. I want to have good tenants at the airport because they're going to be here for a vital life. Or they're wherever they sell to. So I think that's just, and I think about other people that we're renting hangar or ground to at 35 cents a square foot a year. Currently, and their rent's gonna go up. So it's a percentage game too, right? Like we delay their rental rate by 15 years till it changes. And now we've gone through, most of these are 5-year changes. So we've gone through 3 changes and they're still at a rate that was 2025. So you're in 2040.
I would say also, but I mean, most of those other leases started at 25 cents a square foot, so. By the time they actually get to 35 cents.
Yeah. I thought we were renting ground to people already at 35.
No, this is the first one we're doing at 35.
And
25 had been the kind of the standard.
We've already gone up.
Yeah, but I share your concerns, like,
Yeah.
we're signing, we are effectively signing an
Yeah.
agreement that is going to outlive
all of us.
all of us.
yeah,
And then we should make sure that we're giving it.
No, I absolutely understand the concerns.
Yeah,
so.
well, so I guess, I mean, you've been involved in these negotiations, Mike, I mean, do you feel that this is a bigger deal and it will be a good addition to the airport?
Yes, I do believe it'll be a good addition to the airport, and it's about as fair as we're gonna get.
That's good enough for me.
So can I do the resolution?
Sure. And I mean. Parliamentary rules aside, technically anyone can say.
Can I consider the resolution? Approving an agreement with Hangar 319er LLC for ground lease to construct the hangar.
Second.
All right, roll call. Chris, I, Ryan, I, Warren, I, Judy.
Aye.
And,
Officially open the public hearing, if there are public comments.
oh, yeah,
This is the same group that's flying the Pilatus
Yes,
here, yeah.
the Pilatus and the big rooster.
how do you want us to do this?
Yeah, I think you should open the public hearing and then.
We will open the public hearing.
Do it again?
Well, you can just confirm that piece, but I think you need to open the public hearing, and then I'm guessing, Mike, you didn't. I mean, no one's present, but you also didn't receive any
Correct,
comments.
I have not received any comments.
Hearing no public comments, we will close the public hearing. Yes,
Yes,
okay. I want to make sure we didn't have to vote on it in the public hearing.
no,
Okay,
then you would usually do the resolution at this point, but you can just confirm it.
and we're still all right.
Confirm the resolution. Yeah.
I would ask you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sorry.
I'll just check.
That's okay. We'll get your minutes sorted out.
You know, you need to set a public hearing.
Yep.
For the commercial business agreement.
Yep.
The deal.
Yeah.
How's that
Was
different?
that in the packet?
Yes.
I also just thought.
So because this is kind of a conglomeration of entities that are involved in this.
Yeah.
They're working with the airport to more or less protect themselves, but to be able to offer. Aircraft rental and charter and flight instruction within their group on these airplanes. They're gonna do a business agreement with the airport to cover those operations.
Okay.
The agreement is written specifically for them and their affiliates. Not for the general public. There was something else we wanted to point out, and I don't remember what it was. Do you remember, Jennifer?
Well, I think the fee, I think you based that on the current fee for carry ambulance.
Yes.
So, but the commission would have discretion on what that fee is, so just whether or not that's acceptable. And it's, what's been proposed is $100 per month.
That's the fee that they pay.
That's the fee that they pay.
Operators.
Yeah. They still have to maintain insurance, they still have to maintain.
And meet them, if they're gonna be conducting business on the airport. I guess we don't have to meet them or a representative of their areas. Not clear.
I will let Ryan know that it would be really good if he was at the next meeting.
I think I mean, I think it's a big, like, I think it's a big project for them, big project for us, and it'd be nice just to. Sure. I mean, they don't have, like, I'm not keen to. Final to the airport. No more prints. I see here.
Yeah, Duke.
Duke. I could get.
Okay.
Anybody wanna, to the vision? This is a public hearing on
Okay. I move that we set a resolution, we adopted a resolution setting a public hearing for commercial business. With payment through 19er LLC.
Second,
We'll call Chris, Brian,
Aye.
Warren, two.
aye.
See, I read it as 319.
Yeah, you three.
I like 319ers myself.
I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna change my name.
Yeah, it should be 3.
Well, no, I'm not saying you're wrong. I was just sharing my perspective.
When you check for like. The controller is gonna be like.
Dude, I have to move your phone to say like a tree and fire.
How about 319?
319.
November 5, 3, 1, 9.
Okay.
Don't tempt me.
So,
All right, Southern intern. I will keep you on track.
Yes.
yes, do, okay.
No, this one is not a public hearing. This one is. So Adam and I had been talking even before the engineering selection process about having a intern. That was working for McClure, come down to the airport and get exposed to airport operations. Kind of things that we do here, because they also do airport planning and stuff. And so even before the selection process, this was something we kind of wanted to do regardless of the results, but I didn't want it to taint the results by offering it up before the selection process was done. So ultimately, McClure is going to have an intern. They'll work at the airport for a few hours a week from May through September, August. There's a list of possible tasks for them to do. You know, I'll probably have them help with the grant applications, and I'm probably gonna have them do some work on cleaning up our hangar wait list. There's gonna be other random stuff we can go through, old files and organize some other stuff and.
Update the chair's book.
Update the binder, make sure that's good to go. Yeah, so all in all, I think, we'll probably run some social media, do some social media stuff. But all in all, I think it's gonna be a good partnership for us, get a new incoming worker exposed to aviation and what's going on. We don't have to pay for it.
It's great, it's a win-win. Adam told me.
Oh, wow.
Sitting resolution. Bringing. An intern.
Roll call.
And just, I think Mike said this, but to clarify, the airport. The intern is McClure's intern, and
Yes.
the airport is serving as a work location. We
Yes.
just wanna make sure it's clear that it's not
We're
an
not.
airport
They're not
employee.
employed. I don't have to write 2 performance reviews on top of my other ones. Yeah, no,
Hey, you're done with that. It's the next job.
oh, okay. Roll call, Chris, Brian.
I.
Warren, Judy.
Aye.
Events.
Events, earlier this month, we had the EAA tri-motor come out, the B-25 did not make it. Apparently, there is a pre-ride sales quota for the B-25 that we did not know about. The EAA chapter knew about it, but couldn't quite hit it, so. I talked with. Rick. I talked with the EAA chapter president earlier today. There were about 200 people that actually took rides on the tri-motor, so it was, I mean, I knew it was a big weekend. Well, they are trying to get the B-25 back in October. And we'll do, assuming they do, we'll do a bigger push on actually getting people to buy rides and pre-buy rides so that hopefully it does show up. Beyond that, as far as events go, I think the next thing up is probably a movie. I think the Car Club is out here too. No, Car Club was out here last weekend, so no, it's this weekend, sorry.
Sorry, before we move on from the tri-motor.
Yep.
Thing. I was curious if, in an effort to get more people out to the airport, is there any possibility that we could use airport funds to basically raffle off a ride on like the tri-motor or something? If it was like, use $100 of airport one. It's a donation from us to the AA to fund that, but you get people into the airport, they have to be here to participate in it. Brings people out to the airport, fits the mission, strategic mission of the airport, which we're trying to do. Like, is that actually a kosher thing? I was trying to do this.
Probably an answer question.
I don't know,
Okay,
but I, yeah.
okay.
In general, I think given
May not.
Raffle, I think is the problem.
Yeah, raffles do tend to be problematic, but. we can-
we can pass that off to our attorney.
Yes. In the sense of like on a city raffling stuff, is that? Or the. I was just curious,
Yeah,
is it,
um,
I thought. I can come up with, I didn't know if there's like a.
Well, and I think you said it's, the other thing would be, are the funds being used, you know, for the public and for the airport, and I mean, you're saying, yeah, for the strategic mission, but then is the actually the benefits going to the individual that, you know, wins the raffle?
Oh, well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I think, the, where it gets a little,
And we're not asking like some pay to buy a ticket, right? It's not a $5. No, we're just saying, yeah. Come visit the airport and we'll put your name in the.
I mean, they would have to enter, they would have to be present, it gets them out here,
Yeah.
you know. That,
I mean, for 200 people coming out for the weekend, I think that we need to do a whole lot more, probably after that, but.
the other question I had was, so do we ever tried, I know it would be potentially. But it might be more attractive for the AAA to do it when we have the kind of day breakfast.
Yeah, and I actually mentioned that to him today when he was talking about bringing trying to get the P25 back out. I was like, no, like at the end of August is our pancake breakfast and.
That's what I was gonna ask.
That would be a huge,
Yeah,
If you wanna sell rides on planes,
yeah.
they're already here for pancakes.
I know.
And if they come out here for the rides, then they can go get pancakes. Like, it feels like that could be a symbiotic event.
Jenner is real busy with 172 rides during the. Yes, day, yeah.
I think it's something we are gonna try to figure out in the future for this particular one, because the schedule for the B25 is kind of already mostly set for the year. But I think trying to get EAA more involved in the pancake breakfast as a whole, it would be a good thing.
Yeah. Just a thought, because that was actually something my wife mentioned. You know, you guys. You know, out in capitals.
If,
Can the pancake breakfast match whatever the time they might be here? Is it possible?
That's what I was
To
asking.
do it the other way.
Instead of,
It could be 25.
if the B25 has a date that they could come here and it doesn't match this pancake breakfast date, and the
Oh.
pancake breakfast move to match them.
I
rather
would,
than
I would
match to the-
expect they would not want to do that only by virtue of knowing who's all involved and how set they are in their ways.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give preferential treatment to the pancake breakfast because they've had it the same weekend. for
Okay.
15 years.
Yeah, as long as, yeah.
Okay.
We could have a donut breakfast.
Well, this year, I mean, if they do, again, there's a lot of ifs here, but if they do get to be 25 signed up again. It should be in time for, the other thing to consider is we have Good Eagles weekend on the 16th, so that's mid-August. We can advertise it both at Young Eagles and at the pancake breakfast. To get people to sign up for rides for October.
Okay.
So we have opportunities there to reach out and expand hopefully the awareness. So we'll see.
Okay. So.
No,
We're gonna ask.
yeah, no, I know KCRG came out, I think that was Sunday they did a story, that's don't know. I was here all day Friday and I didn't see any.
I didn't swing by, I'm serious.
Yeah, I saw you, yeah, I was in my office hiding.
I understand.
No, I mean, they were a good group, it was.
Very impressive.
But I was trying to get work done at the same time, and I still ended up on a ride on Friday, so. Because they were short people. Like the last one of the day, and they had like 3 people signed up and,
They needed 7.
yeah, basically. They went with 6, actually.
They did.
Yeah.
That mean you counted for 2?
But yeah, we'll figure that out and
Well, good to hear that you're talking with them about.
Yeah.
Trying to get the 25.
it would be a great thing to get people out here. And I know there were some people that were disappointed it didn't show up and I know at least one Facebook comment even was of the line of, well, I'm glad I didn't spend the $500 because it didn't make it. Well, if you did, it might have been here because I don't know how close they were. on the sales.
25.
So, yeah, it is.
So that's the other consideration.
It is.
It's just we have to market that one.
Yeah. Yeah, the tri-motor was selling rides for 105 for adults and like 90 for kids, and the B25 is like 495. It's, yeah, yeah, and.
That's fine.
What's the one before?
So that's my spiel for events. FBO flight training reports. Matt, I don't know if you're actually online, if you're there listening, if you want to say anything. Otherwise, I know the guys are transitioning equipment from winter to summer. We're gonna do some hanger seals and some other stuff as we do that.
Hey guys.
There you go.
Yep, I was hoping to be home, but I'm stuck in Florida, which is not too bad. But anyway, it's one of those things. But no, yeah, like Mike said, there's nothing really big happening on our end. We're excited about that big hangar project that'll help free up some space in our area. But other than that, I don't have anything unless you have something, Mike.
Not particularly.
Sounds good.
Great.
Flight training has been really busy. So. The instructors galore, the planes are all booked up.
Commission member reports. Two things. One's a really question. Do we have any further movement on the grass? Ryan's.
Yes.
Runway.
When
Your grass runway.
yes, when Matt gets back, we're gonna rent a roller. We're gonna roll everything, make sure it looks good before we kind of start digging holes and filling it with rock and stuff that we're not gonna end up using because
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yes.
So I was talking to Ryan before the meeting about coming out and maybe volunteering to do some of that. But yeah, it's in progress.
Did you?
Yeah. That's my only motivation in time.
It's good to have three.
Yeah, Susan would tell you got to fly too.
Huh?
Yeah, Susan, you got to fly too.
Oh, awesome.
She was saying it's rather heavy on the control.
It is.
The pilot kept saying, more rudder, more rudder.
Yes. He didn't have to say that to me a bunch. Your tailwheel training.
Yeah.
Was helpful. Anybody else got?
I don't think I do.
Any mission circulars we should know about?
Not any fun one, probably. Oh, they need some change. Yeah. Staff report?
I will be out of the office early tomorrow. I think I'm planning on leaving around 2 for some family stuff. And then next week is the aviation conference, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I'll also be out of the office. I think I saw your name on the attendee list, so it looked like you may be registered.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna. It's an open voting.
It is a good emoji.
Unfortunately, my plane is still down, so
Oh, no.
if my plane was available, I.
Third copies.
But outside of that, Chris, your seat on the airport commission expires this summer. And the applications for the seat are out, due back May.
Like 2 years.
Applications are due back 5 PM Tuesday, May 13th, 5 PM. Tuesday, May 13th.
They won't let me do it third year.
The policy has been that if you serve 3, you get kind of booted off for somebody new, but I would say fill out an application anyway.
Okay, because I'll keep doing it, as long as they. Want me around, I'll be.
And it'll be up to other airport commission members to write in.
We have a roll call.
Write in and
That guy, don't
They have,
be on again.
That'd be great.
Very helpful.
It's my way of feeling. Let me put it this way, they probably don't want me not even coverable. So they might as well put me over here. 8th, we should be.
And that's all I have.
All right, next meeting is May 8th.
I will not be here.
I will be here.
I will be here. At this one, I will be. I will. You got it, we got through. Okay. Obviously, if you find something to be good about, so. And we'll do it. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.